Hello, everybody, and welcome to Big Bold You, a show that is dedicated to inspiring each and every one of you out there to play bigger in your life, which means you got to do more. You got to do more, and you can do more, and we're going to help you do more. To really be bolder, which means you got to step out of your comfort zone. I know we like to do the same things over and over and over again and want different results, and it's just not how it works. So you can become the best version of you. I believe that we live in a world that is an amazing, incredible place, but we have a war between good and evil, and it has been that way for many, many years. It will continue to be that way, and in my opinion, it's getting worse, and it will get worse before it gets better. But it means that each and every one of us needs to do more and to really make an impact for good with the gifts and talents that we've been given. So that's what we're doing here. And we're every week going to be bringing you amazing people that are playing bigger in their lives. They are stepping out of their comfort zone so they can become the best version of themselves, but also bless the world with their greatness. And I am beyond excited to share with you our guest for today, Miss Robin Corbin. She is incredible. I've known her for many years, and we're going to get into that. But our topic is your health is your wealth, and that 100% is true. So welcome to our show, Big Bold You, Robin Corbin.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you. Now tell everybody how long we've known each other, a little bit of your background, and let's just jump right into this.
How long? We've known each other. My daughter, who's about 27.
That's right. She went to OU.
Yes, and she was, I think, a freshman, and I met Jens at the gym.
Willowbend.
Yeah, Willowbend Fitness.
Willowbend Fitness.
And Jens was my body pump instructor, and I was so intimidated the first time I walked in. You were so sweet. You had a big smile on your face, and you were so welcoming, but she was setting up all the weights with all these huge plates, and I was looking at her going, oh my gosh, I don't know if I walked into the right place or not, but it was so fun. I was addicted. I used to come at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, see, and that's what I think is so awesome, because, you know, our topic for today really is something that is so near and dear to my heart, because as we get into it, now we're going to talk about you for a little bit first, but as we get into it, you are only able to do as much as your health is going to allow you to do. So what I want to know from you is, when did you get into health and wellness? When did it become a priority? Was it when you were a young mom? How many kids do you have? How long you've been married?
Yeah.
We want the whole rundown.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll back up to when I was 14 years old, because that's really when it started. When my parents were divorced, and I moved in with my dad. And up until that point, I've always been really athletic and loved sports, and but I gained 10 pounds right away.
When you were 14?
When I was 14.
And that's such a hard time
well,
in your life.
And I was stressed out, moving from one parent to the other, and going into high school, and I was a good girl, and I exercised a lot and everything, but food was kind of my drug of choice. It was my
you were stressed and you'd eat.
Exactly. So, and my grandfather was obese, and my dad is in amazing shape to this day. He's 81. He's in incredible shape, but he was very aware that I had gained weight, so he was always saying, why don't you not eat that? Why don't you go, jog around the block?
Listen, that's hard to hear when you're 14 years old. Did your dad, I'm sure he did it in a very loving way.
Yeah, he did. But, when you're an adolescent, and, I love and respect my dad so much, I wanted to make him happy. So what I did is I would sneak the cookies, or I just wouldn't eat it in front of him.
I got you.
And it just made me so consumed with appearance, and exercising and working out, and I ended up developing an eating disorder. And
I did not know this, Robin Corbin.
Yeah,
I didn't know this.
Yes, and it was it was, I like drinking's not my thing.
Right.
I could never understand how somebody could be an alcoholic. Yet the most important, my point is the most important thing is that I, was thin, and here I was like just eating uncontrollably almost. So, but I did. It really, my weight would fluctuate up and down, up and down. And at one point, I was probably about 40 pounds heavier than I am right now, maybe 45.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of went up and down, and that's so normal. I mean, what we're talking about right now is normal, and I'm sure probably more than 50% of the people that are watching this right now live, as well as who you share it with and who you will watch in the future, they've done this yo-yo
right
their whole entire life.
And not everybody has an eating disorder, so
right.
that wasn't that
right, exactly.
But I think people can relate to, and we're going to talk a little bit about
right.
why, but up and down, and you could name a diet, and I had done it up
right.
until actually 5 years ago in next week.
Now we're going to jump into the topic, but you've got a gorgeous family, and I know we've got a picture of her family with your red noses.
Yeah, we like to have fun.
I love that about you and your family.
Yeah, so I have a daughter and a son. The taller one in the back is my son. I'm only 5'4". He's about 6'4", so that's kind of fun. My husband and my daughter's up front, and my son-in-law is there with the red nose in front of my son. And then Emily, who, if she doesn't become my daughter-in-law, we're going to get rid of Reed, and we're going to keep her, I think. But anyway, yeah. So my son's a comedian in Chicago, and my daughter is an Orange Theory instructor and has an Arbonne business, a health and wellness business. With me.
I love it that you're so close, and I love it that you just have such a great sense of humor, and that's why it was so easy when I said, "Hey, Robin, we've got a laughter is the best medicine segment." You were like, "Oh,
got it.
Listen, you got it," and it's hysterical. So if you got to jump off, make sure you jump back on and watch all of it, because that is so funny. I love it. But I really do want to get into, you said you had done the yo-yo for the last, really since you were 14, but 5 years ago something happened that changed. And I want you to share that with you, but I also want you to tell everybody is, when did you realize that your health truly is your wealth?
Well, when there's a couple of things. When you feel bad, have you ever had the flu?
Of course. Not frequently.
No, but I never get sick. But when
right.
you have the flu, I don't care how important whatever you have to do is getting canceled.
It's so true.
And
it's so true.
And you know what? I've seen, if you've got headaches or you suffer from so many people, and you stop and wonder, why are we so sick and why are we so fat?
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, a third of the kids weren't fat or had diabetes.
That's so true. It's so true.
Kids didn't have cancer.
I know.
Don't
get me started, Robin. Don't get me started.
But it's something that we're doing to ourselves.
Exactly.
And you see all the advances and everything else that's going on around us, except for our health.
Right. And it's the food, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah. But if you don't feel good, if you're having chronic headaches, joint pain, if you're constantly getting sick,
people don't realize that either. This is one thing that I have said, because my undergraduate degree is in health and wellness, and I am really big into just understanding that, number one, and you said it about your grandfather, your current family history does not determine, it's just a precursor, but you have 100% control. But what people don't realize is they are walking around with chronic headaches. They are walking around not feeling as great as they can. They are walking around in illness, or their bodies aren't functioning at the fullest capacity, and whether they realize it or not, they're preparing for an illness.
Right.
And they don't know any better. So when did you say, hold on a second, or what happened 5 years ago?
Well, and I wanted to say that 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Mm-hmm. And so much of what we put on our body, it affects what happens in our gut and whether or not we're going to get sick. And if you want to do anything in your life, mm-hmm. you can't do it if you're not well. And
exactly.
I remember Rita Davenport, who was the former president of our company, said...
And I love her. I love Rita.
Yeah.
I want to be just like Rita when I grow up.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was about to say. I want to be Rita when I grow up. But right. She said, how much how much is your health worth? Like, how much is your arm worth? You know, would you sell it for $1 million? No, but the point.
Some people may, Robert.
Well, but the point is, most people, you know, your health, you really need to value your health. And so 5 years ago, I discovered a program that I went on that's basically, it's an elimination diet so that you can figure out what works best for you and what doesn't. And there's a slide about you only get one body. Warren Buffett had a great quote. I just watched his documentary, and he said, you know, if I told you, Jens, that you could only have one car for the rest of your life, you know, what would you do? You know, you wouldn't skip an oil change.
No, that's so true.
You would be taking
I love
care
that.
of the tires.
We got that from Warren Buffett.
Yes.
And look at he's just incredibly financially successful. And that's one of the things that I tell people all the time is, in order to really be financially successful and really successful in any aspect of your life, you do have to have your health as a priority. Right. And look at that, and that's so true.
And you only get one body, but yet, you know, we would treat our cars differently. A lot of people treat their cars differently than and you know, they say junk in, junk out. So you only get one body. But what the hard thing is, and Maya Angelou, in fact, when I was driving over here, I was listening to a book on Audible, and Maya Angelou said, you know, when you know better, you can do better.
That's right.
But the problem is that there's so many confusing things out there. And I saw a study, it said that it was from Harvard, and it said that less than, it was 20% of medical schools, because when we have a problem, when we're sick, when we're not feeling well, we go to the doctor. But less than 20% of medical schools require any nutrition education.
I know, but and I'm going to say this: the American Medical Association, they have restrictions on physicians. You know, as a physician, because I was in healthcare for years. And it was one of the reasons why I left healthcare was because I'm all about prevention and cures, and we are in control of that. And then, of course, traditional Western medicine is about customers and creating customers and treating you with medication and everything like that.
Well, it's the sick care system.
It is.
It's not the health care system.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's because they don't know.
It's a business,
right,
folks.
right.
It is a business.
And I'm certainly not a doctor. And we need doctors. If I'm having a heart attack, I'm not going to go to a dietitian.
100%.
But,
100%. But you know that physicians have to have and carry separate additional insurance to even be able to talk to people about nutrition and talk about vitamins and things like that. So not all, it's not because they don't know it, and it's not because they don't want to help you in that capacity, but the license that they have with the American Medical Association restricts them from discussing a lot of this.
And they don't learn it. They don't offer the courses. They certainly don't require the courses.
It's not part of, like you said, it's not part of the healthcare system.
And so there's a lot of marketing myths out there about what
you've got some great slides too about some of these marketing things. So make sure whatever you need to queue up.
There are a lot of myths. And you know, when I was going through all this diet yo-yo stuff, you know, I was on I love the fat-free diet.
Right.
Because I could eat a whole sleeve of Fig Newtons because they were fat-free.
Right, but our bodies need fat.
Right, exactly. But, you know, there's the fat-free diet. There's all these different diets out there. And, you know, Diet Coke, for example, diet sodas, you know,
are so bad
I
for you.
actually had a doctor, you know, years ago say, I want you to eat fat-free foods, I want you to eat Weight Watchers meals, and I want you to eat, you know, drink diet sodas.
Because that's what they thought.
But it's Frankenfood.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
It's not real food. I've never seen a Dorito tree anywhere. You know, I don't know what that is. So a lot of it is so much.
Well, I'll
marketing.
tell you where the Dorito tree is. It's
Where
just
is it?
up. It's up north. It's off of Legacy.
Well, I don't need to know that.
No,
I don't need to know that.
We're here in the Dallas area, so that's where Frito-Lay's headquarters
Oh, right.
is.
Yes. Yeah. You're right about that. So maybe I won't say anything else about that. I'm just saying it's very confusing.
But it is confusing. And the thing I think is important, and I know you go over this because you have a 30-day challenge, and I love it because a couple of the people that I know well have taken your 30-day challenge, and it's amazing the results that they've received. And I love it because to the point, and I know you're going to go into it, but you know what you eat, and I've said this to my kids, and they're just like, Mom, stop saying this. But I tell them, the food you put in your mouth, it will heal you or it will kill you, and that is the truth. But everybody has to to learn this in their own way, on their own time schedule. And that's what I love what you're doing with this 30-day challenge is, you take people through, I think, a very reasonable, doable plan. Now, for some people, it's very challenging.
Well, it's going to be challenging. If
But
it doesn't
for
challenge
others-
you, it's not going to
right.
change you.
But for others, it's not as challenging because it just depends on where you are in your eating.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
The crazy thing for me, so the way I found out about the 30-day program was about 7 years ago. I was on a cruise, and I was always interested in, always trying to lose weight.
You had your
always
bathing suit
interested
on.
Yeah, we were in a little dinghy going over to the, the island. You take the little
Right.
boat, and this gentleman was there, and everybody was oohing and eyeing because he had lost 60 pounds. So I was like, scooting over to hear what
You're
he
like,
did.
hold on, what did he do?
Yeah, and then he said, well, I had to give up gluten and dairy and sugar, and I just scooted back over because I
You're
just
like,
thought,
I don't want to give up those things.
no, that was going to be way too hard. But food it really is addictive. When I was growing
It's
up,
so true.
They said, I remember my parents, smoking is not bad for you. In fact, when my
Did they smoke?
yes.
Because remember back in the day when we were growing up, laying out in the sun was what we all did with baby oil.
which is not good for you.
And then smoking was okay. It was actually kind of cool to do and all that kind of stuff. And so you saw that. And then obviously now we know it's not good.
No, well, and the doctors told my mom when she was pregnant with me to smoke to calm her down. That's when she started.
No way,
but she
Robin,
was.
are you serious?
No, but I am serious. But she was smart enough to know that just doesn't seem right.
Doesn't make sense.
But it's the same thing. There's a reason you can't just eat one Lay's potato chip.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard about these things, I was like, I could never do that. And I didn't want to
Ziggy, put the Lay's down. Put the Lay's down.
Yeah, I didn't want to white knuckle another diet though. And but what happened is I finally got to a place where I had literally tried everything. And I decided I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. And it's only 30 days and nothing is leaving the planet.
Exactly.
So it'll be there when I'm done.
Okay, I really like that, Robin. I like what she just said because here's the thing. If you do this for 30 days or any type and you decide, oh, hold on a second, everything's still going to be here in 31 days.
Nothing's going away.
Nothing's leaving,
And
folks.
you can do anything. And what it is, it's an experiment on your body. So what happened is what we do is we eliminate addictive and acidic and allergenic food that doesn't serve your body. And the coolest part for me was the cravings went away. So it's not a deprivation diet.
Okay, but let me ask you this because like you said, food is addictive and there are some harmful ingredients that we do get addicted to. So when you do start to eliminate it, sometimes you don't feel good at the very beginning.
No, a lot of times people, and a lot of the signs that you are detoxing is you might get a headache.
Right.
You might feel like you have a mild version of the flu.
Right.
And that's your body going, what the heck's going on
Right.
here? But it's a good sign.
And then, to your point, the longer you go, the cravings for the sugar and the cravings for the
fried, the nasty
all
foods.
the processed foods and things that you're used to, they do start going away and you start feeling so much better. And then when you start, if you decide to go back and eat all that crap,
well, we have
again,
a way. We talk about that because
You don't feel good.
Well, what I love about this program is it's a doable program. So what we do, and I want to say first of all, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I'm not a nutritionist. I've just been coaching people through this program for the last 5 years, and I've
Right.
done it myself. And I've seen some incredible testimonies.
like hundreds of people you've helped.
Thousands,
thousands
literally
of people.
thousands around the world. But and before you even go into this, I'd love to show some of the testimonials to give you an idea.
All
But
right,
basically,
well, we've got some.
Yeah.
Do you want to play the video testimonials, or do you want to go over the 30-day?
Let's play the testimonials
let's
first.
Listen. Okay, so you want to go? Let's play those testimonials, Ziggy. They're amazing.
6 years ago, I was diagnosed with autoimmune arthritis and thyroid issues, and I ached everywhere. I had no energy. I was very inflamed and inactive and very depressed. At the encouragement of my friend Robin, I decided to try the Arbonne 30 Days to Healthy Living 2 years ago, and it changed my life. I discovered after a couple of weeks, you are what you eat. Suddenly, I felt energetic and the fog lifted and I wanted to be active again and nothing hurt. And I felt like myself. I started losing weight. I lost over 30 pounds and have maintained that weight loss for the last 2 years without any problem at all. And I decided that this is definitely the way I will live my life. I went to my doctor almost a year and a half ago, and I asked her if I could go off the medications that she had me on that were absolutely destroying my organs and raising my blood pressure and my cholesterol. And even though she'd not done that before, she said, yes, because you look great. And so I did. And I'm still off of them. I feel wonderful, and I have discovered you are what you eat. I know that these next decades of my life will be very exciting and very active, and I can't wait.
Okay, so I love everything that she said because it's so true. I love how she talked about inflammation. I mean, believe me, inflammation is your biggest enemy.
And that's one of the key programs. This is an anti-inflammatory.
Right. And people don't realize it. I mean, they just don't realize. And then I just love how happy she is.
Well, and let me tell you, she had trouble walking the mall. She's 61.
Oh,
she doesn't.
wow.
I know, isn't
She
that
doesn't look
crazy?
it.
She is 61 years old. She
Amazing.
was destined to be in a wheelchair. She was taking shots in her belly every 3 weeks, and because she was in so much pain.
But here, I think one of the biggest lessons I think people can learn from all of this is our food really, it does heal you or it can kill you. And so if you're in a position, look at this, I love this, the food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine, and that's if it comes from the ground, if it comes from a tree, if it comes from the ocean in its purest form, or the slowest form of poison. And it's so true. Have you watched that documentary
Yes,
on
I've watched
on
every one of
McDonald's?
them. Yes, yeah, Super Size Me.
Oh my gosh, the Super Size Me. My kids were telling me because, of course, I am how I am, and I've said it over and over. And okay, what was the end result of that person? They did it for 30 days, right? They
Yes.
ate
He
McDonald's
just ate McDonald's for 30 days.
For 30 days.
And
in
he
30
gained,
days.
he hit they did all of his blood work at the beginning, and they did his blood work at the end. And it was just, I think he had fatty liver disease or something awful. And actually, whatever it was, there were lots of incredible.
And then he videoed every day, and you
How
could just
he's
see, right, you could just see each day he just got less energetic, and he even, I think he got depressed too.
He was very depressed, and he said it was like an addict when the 30 days was up and he was going back on to a normal diet.
He wanted to go back.
It was really hard for him.
Isn't that amazing?
So we just have no idea we have no idea what food is doing to us, and everybody's a little bit different.
Right.
And so you might be able to eat dairy without a problem. My husband, when we did this 30-day program 5 years ago in October, I told my husband, okay, if I'm doing it, you're doing it too.
Right.
And so he did it under duress. He was not excited about
That's
it.
the way we get our husbands to do a lot of things.
Yes, but
Listen to us.
yeah, but I'm not kidding. 3 or 4 days into the program, he came over and gave me the biggest hug, and he said,
he felt so great.
He said, "Thank you so much," because he was on over-the-counter sinus medication, over-the-counter allergy medication. He was taking, I don't know how much money we spent on this stuff, and it was just his life. I mean,
Right,
like
that's what
seriously,
yes,
you
that's
have
what he was
no.
used to.
So many people have no idea. I think that's probably the thing I hear most is that I quit taking my allergy medicine and my headaches
People
went
don't
away.
realize because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I worked years in health and wellness, and it still is a huge passion of mine. But you take somebody's blood pressure, and their blood pressure would be borderline or even through the roof, and you're like, how are you sitting here right now? And they're like, well, this is
normal.
This is how I normally feel. And it's like, well, you shouldn't feel this way, but people don't
know.
realize. They don't know.
They have no idea.
Now, we have another amazing video from somebody I know and I love. We've got to listen to the second, your second video testimonial.
Hi, this is Shiloh Preston, and I was introduced to the 30-Day Healthy Living Challenge about 5 months ago. And when I was introduced to the challenge, I was about 30 pounds overweight. I'm type 2 diabetic, so my fasting blood sugar was about 270, 290, way too high, and it wasn't coming down with medication, even though my doctor kept piling more on. And so I did my first 30-day challenge, and my blood sugar dropped almost in half. By the end of my first 30-day, I had lost 12 pounds. My energy and mood were through the roof, and I'd lost 2 inches off my waist. By my second and then my third 30-day, I had lost a total of 18 pounds, My blood sugar had dropped by 150 points and 5 inches off my waist. So I'm thrilled and can't wait to keep going.
That's incredible.
I have the best job in the world.
You do have the
Seriously.
best job in the world.
Changing lives like that.
And that's why I always loved wellness also, but I like it that this is anybody can do 30 days. I mean,
well, and she said 30 days, and then my next 30 days, and my next 30 days.
she only was going to commit to 30 days.
That's
at a
all
time.
she committed to. Well, she only committed to the first 30, and she had such great results. She said, 30 days changed so much. Let me keep going and see what happens. Plus, the other thing is, you feel so good. It's not a deprivation diet.
No,
it's
not at all.
Let's swap things,
right, exactly.
and let's get healthier choices.
And the thing that we've talked about in preparation for the show is, each and every one of us, we are 100% in control. And I think you even have a slide that talks about that, maybe, but.
Yeah, well, the point is, we don't have control over much of what happens to us, much
Right.
of what goes on in our
That's
life.
true.
But what you put in your mouth, nobody's holding you down and shoving stuff in.
Exactly.
It's just you.
That's exactly
and,
right.
I said I was a compulsive overeater. I had an eating disorder, and so I felt like I was out of control. But if you can just do it one day at a time, take one step and then the next step, and it builds, your little successes build on each other. And like I said, the cravings go away, and we have so much support.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
Yeah, we have accountability
The support.
groups, we have support, we have recipes, menu plans. Planning is so important.
Right.
So we help with all of that.
Because I think, most people, they want to be healthier. Most people want to feel great. Most people don't want to be on a bunch of medication. Most people want to be at their ideal weight, but they don't want to do it by themselves, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to do any of this by myself either. But they need that support, and that's one of the things I think that's phenomenal about this.
Right. So this 30-day program, it was designed by a PhD nutritionist, along with 2 women, PhD nutritionist and an MD who's a functional medicine doctor. So functional medicine doctors study the human body and study food and how our bodies work.
Right.
And so they put it together, and there's 5 key principles of the program, and then of course you have all the support that comes along with it. But we want to decrease the amount of toxins that you're bringing in. We want to reduce. We want to increase inflammation. It's not what you eat; it's what your body can absorb and use.
Yes.
And we are
true.
we are the most overfed, undernourished country on the planet. We want to get rid of toxins, we want to reduce inflammation, and we want to even out your pH levels, so your body is either alkaline or acidic.
Right.
And we want you on the alkaline.
Exactly.
Because that'll
so
help.
important.
And really, like I said at the beginning,
Disease can't grow in
an alkaline environment. Well, it's like when I think of most of the SAD diet, the standard American diet is acidic.
Right.
And
so true. I love that SAD diet.
Yeah, the SAD diet.
Don't be on the SAD diet.
No,
folks.
no. But it's acidic. And so I look at that like fertilizing disease growth in my body.
It is so true. I love that, Robin.
So I just don't want to
that.
fertilize it, because we all have little, mutant cells floating around. I don't want them to grow.
No, exactly.
But anyway, so what we do is we focus on health. This is not a weight loss program, but the happy
No,
side
it's
effect
health.
of it is weight falls off.
Well, right.
And
because
stays off.
when your body is functioning the way it's supposed to function, it does, you do become at your ideal weight, whatever that may be.
And what you find out, what I love is you find out what works for you, because what worked for you may not work for me.
That's right. Like you were saying, even with the dairy. I mean, I don't consume a lot of dairy. I don't have a problem with dairy, but I don't consume a lot because I know it's not great for you. But I'm not going to feel horrible afterwards. But some people will feel horrible afterwards.
Well, and this is the thing with my husband. He would eat dairy. He never felt horrible afterwards. But when he got the dairy out of his diet, all of a sudden he could breathe.
Right.
And he didn't need all the sinus medications.
That's such a good point.
So what we do for 30 days is we eliminate all of these things. And what we do is we show you just how to shift. We find out what are your habits, and we create new habits. And it's not taking something away. If you like pasta, we'll have you eat gluten-free brown rice pasta or quinoa pasta instead of whole wheat pasta.
It's education.
It's an exchange.
It's exchange, education, the support. And this is what I love. If you don't know all this stuff, don't worry about it. Because She does.
Well, we run it through a private Facebook group.
Right.
And so we have meal plans, recipes, shopping lists. We have a carnivore meal plan, recipe, and then we have ones for vegans.
I love
and the vegan
it.
ones are great for everybody.
Yeah.
And then what we do is it's a community. Everybody on the we have a private Facebook group, and everybody on the Facebook group is doing the program or has recently done it. And at the end of the 30 days, we coach you through. This is the fun part. You get to figure out how your body works. Does
Right.
cheese bother me or not?
Right,
Am I
exactly.
okay with this or that? And we're not saying add back in your,
Right.
your
Don't add-
junk.
right.
But you know what? It's a real life program, because after the 30 days, one by one, we'll add the food groups back in to see.
And you'll start to find out.
Well, you'll find out what works for you and
Very-
what doesn't.
yes.
And then we follow the 80-20 rule. So
right.
on your birthday, we want you to have cake.
Right.
You know, if you want to.
Of course. And
You
I
know,
am going to have cake.
Yes. But I mean, we want you to celebrate Thanksgiving. We
For
want
sure,
you to
for
have,
sure.
life.
That's
But-
the important thing too. Is it's not like you can't indulge in some of those foods every once in a while.
Right.
It's just like you said, but 80% has to be
Eating clean.
Eating clean for sure.
And your body, the cool thing is, it's not just that your pants get tight, it's that, oh my gosh, I've got headaches again, or my
Right,
joints
right.
are hurting. You're like, I don't want my joints to hurt.
No, I know.
I'm just going to have this instead of that.
Well, I can't wait for everybody to see our Laughter is the Best Medicine video, because it truly is hysterical and it goes along with this. But also our Ask Jen's question. I think I always try to pick a question that goes along with our program topic. And here is a question that I get asked all the time. How do you get so much done? I mean, literally, I get asked this question, and I'm not exaggerating.
know.
I'm not exaggerating. I get asked this question probably 3-4 times a week, because I do a lot. I've got 5 kids. I've got a busy schedule. I am a transformational award-winning leader. I am executive managing director for eWoman Network. I have a network marketing business. I have a coaching business. I facilitate a mastermind. I do one-on-one coaching, and I do these shows, and I also co-host a show. And I will tell you, the reason I am able to get so much done is, number one, I have made a commitment to my health, and not just my physical health, which is what we're discussing right now, but my spiritual health as well. I've got an attitude that's extremely positive. I'm grateful for all things, because here's the thing, you have to be grateful for all things. Anything that happens to you that is not what you desire, I promise you there's going to be a lesson. Anytime you fail, it's temporary defeat, it's not permanent, there's a lesson in it. The second reason I get so much done is I made a decision a long time ago that I was going to be successful in everything that I decided to put my energy and efforts into. And once you make a decision, it's different than just thinking about it. When you make a decision, you actually follow through and do all the necessary actions in order to have that success. And the third thing, and you mentioned it, is a master planner. You've got to plan. You have to create the life that you want by choice instead of living a life by chance. And that's how I'm able to do all the things that I do. And I'm going to say to you, Robin, you are such a planner as well. I know for a fact, make sure you take care of your physical and spiritual health as well. And you've got the best attitude all the time. You're happy. And you've made that decision to succeed. But I want to know, just briefly, before we get into Laughter is the Best Medicine, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, but when did you really start to learn the importance of planning and personal development and all the things that you do?
Well, it used to be just kind of like I would bounce from one thing to another, and I still do from time to time get it back into that habit. But it was really in my network marketing company in Arbonne where I learned, talking about chunking your time, scheduling the night before, figuring out the most important things that you have to do, and Eat That Frog, the famous Brian Tracy book.
That's our
that thing first in the morning.
That's our book for the mastermind I facilitate next month in October, because October is always when, I was in corporate America, and October is when I would plan the next year. And that's what I do with my life. But I know that you've been with Arbonne for 13 years now, and it's a phenomenal network marketing company. I'm with a network marketing company, Nerium International, and I've always been really big into personal development and planning. But I too share that with you. I tell people, good grief, if you're not involved in a network marketing company, you don't care about getting products at a discounted rate. You don't care about that. You don't care about the tax write-offs. Care about the personal development that you become a better person, and I love that, and that's the reason I think I know that we are only able to achieve in our lives what we are healthy enough to achieve, and also where we are developmental wise, and what you do, that's your passion. You hit both of those, and I'm just so grateful to have you share what you do with everybody else. But you set up this laughter is the best medicine video because it's hysterical.
Well, it was funny to me because it just resonated with me. Like I said at the very beginning, I have done every diet on the planet, and apparently this young man has as well.
Have you ever had kimchi before? Yeah, kimchi is super easy to make. Kimchi is actually super easy to make. You just throw cabbage into a mason jar and then you forget about it until you clean out your pantry next. Well, it actually turns out that there's a difference between pickling things and fermentation, so I have no idea what's happened to these vegetables. Have you tried kombucha before? Kombucha is amazing. It's sweet tea that you let sit with an alien inside of it until it turns into a probiotic. Yeah, it works because of science. These are kale chips. I don't really know how they're chips, but you know, it's kale. I sprinkle a little bit of kale on everything just on principle. Have you tried beets? Have you ever had a beet salad? Beets are basically like potatoes' older brothers that didn't drop out of college. I've been starting my mornings out with hot water and then cayenne and lemon. Have you done hot water and turmeric? It's a really simple thing to do in the mornings. You boil water and then you squeeze a whole lemon in, and then I use my Ouija board to infuse the spirit of my forefathers into it. It's really good for your GI tract. I'm a vegetarian. I'm an ovo-vegetarian. It's like a lacto-vegetarian. I don't do milk, but I do eat eggs sometimes. I'm doing a vegan diet right now. I was traditional vegan for a little while, but now I'm raw vegan because I burnt my hand while I was making some stir fry once, and I never switched back to cooking things after that. Well, no, I'm pescatarian now. It's basically vegan or vegetarian, but you still eat fish because omega-3s are really good for you, but I also don't think fish count as animals. I've been meal prepping like crazy. Meal prepping's awesome because it saves you a bunch of time and money, and you only have to be sad once that you're not having tacos instead of like 5 times. I'm doing this new paleo diet actually. Yeah, I'm paleo now. Me and my girlfriend are doing this keto diet. I thought she was signing me up for a martial arts class, but then
the one that I thought was the most hysterical was when he said, I'm meal prepping because you only have to be sad once for the week. But you don't get to eat all the other stuff. It's hysterical. But that is really, I think, how a lot of people feel. They're like, what am I doing? And I think that's so funny. It's so funny. But you're funny. You have a great sense of humor. Your family is so funny. And it's just been a blast having you here. Do you have any parting words before we close today?
Well, like you said, this is totally my passion. So if anybody is interested in learning more about our 30-day clean eating challenge, you can email me at robincorbin@verizon.net. It's just my name. And as a thank you for checking it out, I've got a whole week's worth of meal plans, recipes, and shopping lists that are clean, that are easy. I don't cook, but I can make these.
Awesome.
So I would love to share. And I have
a
week's worth of carnivore for carnivores and a week's worth for vegans. So I've got everybody covered.
That.
So robincorbin@verizon.net. Shoot me an email, and I would love to have a little video of all of your listeners sharing their
yes,
testimonies,
definitely.
because it really is, when you know better, you can do better.
That's right.
And it's a 30-day experiment on yourself.
You know, and I will say that one thing I love about the internet is that you can share. If there's anything that inspired you, you learned something, you know somebody is in a situation where this information could really help them. All you have to do is share this video and tag them, and really let's help one another play bigger. And I will tell you, I'm about to do a laugh challenge. I'm going to do a laugh challenge because I want everybody to be laughing more. There's so many benefits physiologically as well as mentally that happens when you laugh. And of course we know this. And so just be on the lookout for something really cool and fun that we're going to be doing. We want to thank you so much for joining in with us today. Please come back and join us next Monday at 3 p.m. Central. And until we meet again, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye-bye.